Hey guys, username here. I want to do a trade review on my Tesla trade today, and had three main points to make for myself in the trade review. And so when I do a video, it helps me to really remember those points when I point it out in a video I post. So I'm going to kind of walk through those real quick. Number one was my entry here. Number two was my exit, and number three was this overall trade. So the trade itself was a classic consolidation pattern. I walked in about right here as it was rejecting this for the second high. So we have a low, a high, higher low, lower high. This could keep getting tighter. The intent is to have a impulsive move with volume once you break out of this price discovery phase here, as people are trying to figure out what the price really needs to be. So I waited for the break. I waited for the retest. I got in on the breakdown of the retest, and it did not break down further from there. So when we got back up here, I was like, you know what? This is actually a better thing. It looks like I'm adding to a loser. It looks like it's not a better thing because my price was better on the contract. And I'm not adding to a loser. I am adding to a winner that I will find out if it's a loser sooner. So my risk reward on this is better. My original stop loss is the plane of this. So I had an alert set for if it goes above that. And all these are my normal TA levels except for this. Once I saw this consolidation, I kind of looked back to see if there were any other intraday levels, and this was a prior day intraday level that we were straddling. So this was a secondary stop loss once it dragged out. So here's why this is a better A+ setup than this one. I like this setup, but here's why this is better. Because we have in no way invalidated the trade. We're staying within the retest of this lower trend line. Now we're retesting this prior day support. It was on the 15-minute, it was a 3-bar play support. And we haven't reached the plane of my upper trend line yet. So we've gotten closer to a stop loss, but we haven't really tested it. The price action hasn't looked like it's reversed. Sellers do not look like they're losing control. So that was the one point on the entry, is this is a better entry. In fact, if I hadn't been as busy at work and I really just wanted a low stress trade, I really should have loaded up on this one. I got one contract here, expecting to trade down to here. If this was a day when I was trading normal, loading up here would have been outstanding because the risk reward was so high. Scaling out at levels, I could have carried him down. But this would have been a great spot to load up just because the risk reward was so tight right there. So that was thing number one. So thing number two, I scale out, give myself a little bit more comfort. This ended up being a completely effortless trade. But scaled out, gave myself some room, had a nice drop, and then we have the exit. So the exit looks funny, right? My next level's down here, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I will usually exit right before. Like I would normally exit like here. I'd get out right before my level. But I didn't do that in this case, and it just happened to be a pivot. So why did I get out there is the question. So the reason I got out there is because we were coming right up on this psych level, 260 psych level, really close to my level here. And it's an even 10, which makes it a little bit more of a psych level. So do I know that that's why this reversed? No. But I do know, just based on thousands of charts I've watched and traded, that psych levels are important. So I pay attention to them. So that was the other thing I wanted to make sure I remembered. There's no indicator. I've got a normal TA here. So it's an extra effort to look and say, where are the psych levels? Do I pay attention to single dollar amounts regardless? Absolutely. I was paying attention to these dollar amounts, just like the normal even dollars, but especially on the tens. So that's why I got out of that. and it looks like I either guessed really well or whatever, but I didn't. It wasn't a guess. It was with reason. With reason, I got out about the same spot away from the 260 as I would have gotten out of this had there been no psych levels here. So that's thing number 2. Thing number 3, which is an overall trade. This, you've probably seen me post before, or I've said it in videos before, process over profits. This is a really good example. I only got into 2 contracts. But it's still, to me, this is an outstanding trade. So why is it outstanding? Because it is a textbook trade plan that played out. I thought this was an A+ setup until we got here, and then that's a better A+. That's A++. But short of that, this is a really good trade plan that played out. And there was a lot of decent setups today, but what I was seeing, I didn't like a lot of what I saw. I saw a lot of stuff that just, if you wanted to trade, you could have got wrecked today in some of the price action I was seeing. But this is really clean price action, and so the overall thing is process over profits. And if I would just be patient enough to wait for trades like this, I would be a much better trader as a person. Instead of, I took a SPY puts, I scalped SPY puts early in the day for like $300. And that was a bad trade. Did I make money on it? Yes. But when I compare it to this, it was not an A+ setup. I should not have taken that trade. And I would have made less money today, but it would have been a better trading day because I would have been more patient for the better setups. And I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to scalp good profits, but then when I go back and review, I'm like, man, that really wasn't a great setup. And in this case, so my third point that I'm trying to make to myself, and my challenge to myself, is be patient enough to wait for a trade like this. In the long run, I'll be a better trader. On the day that I take the trade, the scalp on SPY for $300, I feel pretty good about it. But when you compare the quality of trade, that's the kind of trade that's going to reverse on me more often than not and cost me more money in the long run. And trading that builds a pattern of taking poorer trades. So wait, be patient for the better trade setups, and I'll be a better trader in the long run. So those were the 3 things I took out of my trade review. And again, I wanted to post it just because I felt like if it was important enough to me, maybe somebody else would watch it and feel like it's important to them as well. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below, or hit me up on Twitter or Discord. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Thanks.